And now I would like to give my reflection for the introduction and context settings. So, in this part, where we explained the topic and theme, and the main aim was to help the students. And I see as the students should identify what is safe and unsafe online behavior, and they also should improve and read and improve reading, speaking, and writing skills. And we want them to, of course, develop their responsibility and be respectful in online when they are using the internet. And we also showed that the topic is very important because students are usually using the internet daily, and they need guidance to stay safe as well. So all this was said and also introduced during the induction. For recollection and observation, I actually like the way it was conducted, where two online comments were showed, which is one polite and one rude, and the students were asked to identify which comment showed good digital etiquette and how this helped was the students were actually quite much activate prior their knowledge, and it has been a very much good engagement between the students. And next was my part, where I introduced the key vocabulary such as privacy, password, cyberbullying, phishing, and respect. So I try to use some visual aids and some short notes for them to understand, and a little activity at the end where the students have to match the vocabulary meanings and predict which word was belonged to, which was quite interesting as well. And during the practice stage was introduced by my another member. The students actually tried their best to read the short text very quietly, which was about 5 rules for staying safe online, and they also try to identify some safety rules and answered some of the questions was given by my member in the chat box at last. And next was the production stage, where my member tried to discuss a real life online scenarios in groups. It was happened in the video by separating group A and group B, and they also try to suggest some correct actions for situations like strangers messages or rude comments. And it was quite interesting to see how much engagement they were putting in and the efforts they brought in through the chat box. And at last it was ended by another member by concluding, where the students tried to understand what was the motive and aim all about. And next is the critical analysis. So my analysis on this is overall the lesson objectives were mostly achieved, and the students were able to identify several safe online habits, and most of the students actually participated actively through the chat. Compare speaking, some spoke, but their mic was not really can be listened, but they tried. And also, the scenario activity was particularly effective in promoting their critical thinking, which was very interesting to see as well. Um, However, some students actually needed some extra time to explain their answers, so we were actually waiting and patiently to listen to the answers as well. And the time management was slightly an issue, as we took some long time to wait for their answers, but it was actually has been resolved after we explained how to move on to the next question and next slides. And also, I tried my best to simplify the instructions and the questions while I was explaining, and it was quite helpful for the students. And also, with the follow-up questions where the issue was actually resolved. As for strengths and weaknesses, I believe I have 4 strengths that I would like to explain today. So, we as a team had a very clear lesson structure and smooth transition. And as for me personally, my reflection would be that all my slides and questions were actually has been translated very well. And number two, I personally used a lot of real life examples, which made the lesson even more meaningful. So my students, when they tried to reply, it was actually quite interesting as well. And number three, I personally managed the online class very confidently, and it actually gave me a good reaction. And some of them used the clap emojis and some good thumbs up emoji, which really motivated me while teaching. And fourth, all my instructions were mostly clear and well paced, and I'm happy that they were able to hear and listen to my voice clearly without any interruptions. And as for weaknesses, I would say some of the explanation can be more scaffolded while I was presenting, because it was a little new for me to explain through online for questions that is very much important for our groups. So it could have done better. And number two, I would say some of the students were very quiet as well, and they were not really participating much on speaking. But there were some who tried very well. And third, for weaknesses, I would say maybe I could have improved my questioning techniques to encourage deeper responses and some fun engagement time as teachers and students for the questions that we have given. The impact of the students and adaptation. So, this lesson helped the students to become more aware of responsible online behavior. I also reflect by looking at the visual learners, they have actually benefited from images and videos. And for the verbal learners, they actually quite much have a lot of advantage by doing the discussion. And we also had some little writing activities where they tried. It's actually supported a little bit better, and we have allowed them to text in the chat box, especially for the shy students. So that was quite something that we have took an effort immediately. And I personally has replaced the questions when the students seem confused, and also some of my other members. And lastly, the lesson actually promoted some moral values such as responsibility, respect, and awareness. The goal setting and action plan. So, one goal is to improve student engagement, especially among the quieter learners. And another goal I would say is to manage the time more effectively during the discussions. So, to improve all of these, I have a few plans that I would do. Number one, I would actually observe the experienced teachers and will try my best to attend some of the workshops and learn some online teaching strategies as we have done this as a micro teaching. And secondly, I would like to also be prepared with differentiated prompts for mixed ability students, which is much, much needed and useful for the current situation in our schools as well. And thirdly, I would like to plan and use more interactive tools like polls or breakout rooms to test and see how effective it is as well. The conclusion and closing thoughts that I would like to share is this stimulated teaching experience have helped me to reflect on my strengths and areas for improvement. It highlighted the importance of lesson planning and adaptability. I also believe that reflection allows me to grow as a teacher and improve my practice. And lastly, I would like to tell that I am grateful for this opportunity and committed to applying these improvements in my future lessons. And I hope to have to become a teacher with more knowledge. Thank you.